And now, your 5 o'clock news on Channel 14.
Welcome into WCTV's Newscast, live at 5. I'm Joe Shirillo.
And I'm Mia Hinkins.
This week was the start of Testimony Tuesdays at Roberts Chapel during Waynesburg's weekly service. This week, Andy Stako and our very own Meg Berry gave their testimonies. Testimony Tuesday, a time for students and faculty to come together during the chapel service to hear from their peers and colleagues about their time with Christ and hardships they might have faced and how they overcame them. This week, our very own Meg Berry, the general manager of WCTV, along with being a Bonner Scholar and track and field athlete, took time to share her testimony this past Tuesday.
Immediately, I was overwhelmed with joy and was surrounded and comforted by so many of my friends at the meet to know that this was exactly what I was supposed to do. Later that year, I went to Rocky National Park, South Dakota.
I really think it's a blessing to just be able to speak here at Testimony Tuesday. I think it's really important to share your testimony because how God acted in your life is how God can act in other people's lives too.
Along with Berry, Sports Information Director Andrew Stanko also shared testimony of his time within athletics and the life of Christ around it.
I received the worst news possible on a spring day, much like today, almost 3 years ago exactly. We had a home softball game in which we were working in a normal fashion, and information started to trickle in. There had been an incident in Virginia. We were attending a track meet that Friday and Saturday, our team was. Student athletes were involved. I believe it was our 10K crew who was going to run on that Friday night. On that Thursday, they were running what they call a shakeout on some back roads near their hotel. And in that line of students running, unfortunately,
Chaplain Sumner encourages other members of the Waynesburg community to join chapel and hear others share their testimony.
We're a campus community. We're one community, and I just think we need more shared experiences, and one of the great gifts that we can offer is our story of what God has done. And then we take that and we go and support people in the places where they work, where they play, where they compete, and we now have that communal kind of relationship. And so I'd love to just see our community come together and have more of those shared experiences.
To watch their full testimonies, watch The Journey's most recent episode on WCTV's YouTube page to see the full pieces. For WCTV, I'm Joe Shirillo.
Today was the second blood drive of the year at Waynesburg University. Students and faculty rolled up their sleeves and donated to the American Red Cross this morning and afternoon. The Red Cross continues to urge those who are able to donate blood to help combat a growing blood shortage. Go to redcross.org for more ways to help and to look at upcoming blood drives in the area.
Tomorrow and next week, there are multiple dates for Waynesburg University students to be aware of. Tomorrow, Cy Kai is hosting a student speak event at noon on the 3rd floor of Stover on stress and coping skills. Sunday, April 6th is the Ethnic Food Tour and the Woospies, which will be held in the Goodwin Performing Arts Center. And next Tuesday, the Students' Activity Board is sponsoring the trip to Wheeling, West Virginia to see the Harlem Globetrotters in action.
Yesterday was a busy one for the Shapiro administration. The Pennsylvania governor and his people made multiple stops, including one in Duquesne, for a roundtable discussion. Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis represented the Shapiro administration at the event. The discussion was in wake of Shapiro's appeal to the USDA and the decision to cancel $13 million in funding to the state. At the roundtable, Davis said, quote, "Investing in Pennsylvania farmers and helping them do what they do best, feed people, is an investment in our future. That's why the Shapiro-Davis administration has pushed for more investments to support agriculture, while supporting Pennsylvania families, students, and seniors," end quote.
Coming up, a look at Donald Trump's unprecedented decision on new tariffs and job cuts being made by the HHS.
Plus, a tornado wreaking havoc on the Midwest and new information on how nuclear energy can shorten trips to Mars. All that and more on the newscast.
Welcome back to the newscast live at 5. 25% tariffs on vehicles shipped to the U.S. starts today, with duties on parts set to begin by May 3rd. After weeks of lead up to that news, it might seem less groundbreaking now. That's after President Donald Trump imposed jaw-dropping, history-making new tariffs yesterday. Amy Kiley reports on how they could affect average Americans.
President Donald Trump is imposing a 10% tariff on imports from all countries, plus higher rates for Cambodia, Vietnam, China, the European Union, and more. Here are 5 ways experts say Americans might feel the impact. 1. Higher prices.
It's thousands of dollars. We're talking at least 2% of the median household income that this will cost American households.
Most economists predict U.S. businesses that pay the tariffs will pass on some or all of the costs to consumers. The Trump administration downplays that.
The businesses don't have to pass them on, or the producers in the other countries can eat the tariffs. 2.
An economic slowdown.
What you're seeing here is a potential haircut to GDP for 2025 of about 3%.
J.P. Morgan predicts a global recession if Trump maintains his tariffs. Economists say a 1930 trade war deepened the Great Depression.
We know what happened in 1929, 1930 in the crash.
Trump supporters note other countries don't have to retaliate.
They're going to bring their tariffs down because they need the U.S. to be active trading partners.
3. Blows to retirement funds if the stock market doesn't fully rebound. 4. High interest rates if the Federal Reserve sees too much inflation. And 5. Growth for some domestic manufacturers. Economists say they're the biggest winners under Trump's tariffs.
We have to save the people in the industries of the United States.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
After weeks of worry from staffers, massive job cuts, known as a reduction in force, or RIF, are rolling through multiple agencies within U.S. Health and Human Services. No employee level appears immune, with cuts being reported throughout leadership, longtime staffers, scientists, administrators, and communication staff. One Food and Drug Administration employee described it as a, quote, bloodbath. As Laura Aguirre explains, the method of the cuts and the amounts are drawing polarizing reaction along partisan lines.
These folks have no idea what harm they're causing.
But these changes have to be made for the future of our government.
Opposing views on the seismic downsizing within agencies under the Department of Health and Human Services, a move that HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. recently called a shift to new priorities.
Especially ending the chronic disease epidemic with clean water, safe food, effective medicine, good science.
The exact number of job cuts that began Tuesday not immediately clear, but last week, Secretary Kennedy forecast that 10,000 full-time employees would be let go, on top of thousands of others who've already left, or probationary employees who are on administrative leave.
I'm so sad as not only a federal worker, but as an American. I mean, just to no heart. There's just no sense to it.
They're just taking a hatchet to various agencies. That has an enormous impact on the health and safety, not only today and tomorrow, but 10 years from now.
Agencies including the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the National Institutes of Health, and the Food and Drug Administration, impacting work on HIV, injury prevention, reproductive health, minority health, smoking, violence prevention, and much more.
We have an entire office of Head Start who, they're gone. They're gone.
We have to be careful. But at the same time, we cannot continue to spend it the way that we are.
What remains will be merged into a new organization called the Administration for a Healthy America, or AHA, says Secretary Kennedy.
The entire federal workforce is downsizing now, so this will be a painful period for HHS.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
Millions of Americans were under tornado watches Thursday morning as a line of storms moved across the central U.S. In Tennessee, these resort guests at Nashville's Gaylord Opryland Resort evacuated their rooms and took shelter in the basement amid an early morning tornado warning. Then, shortly after getting the all clear to return to their rooms, a second warning was issued and guests had to evacuate again to the basement. So far, officials have confirmed at least 5 deaths from the severe storm outbreak in Tennessee. In addition to twisters, days of nearly nonstop rain are expected in the corridor where Tennessee, Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, and Kentucky meet. All the rain could trigger life-threatening flooding.
A nuclear-powered rocket could cut travel time to Mars in half. That's according to British startup Pulsar Fusion, which has unveiled a space rocket concept called Sunbird. It's designed to meet a spacecraft in orbit, attach to it, and carry it to its destination at breakneck speed using nuclear fusion. We're talking speeds of up to 500,000 miles per hour. The fastest object ever built, NASA's Parker Solar Probe, peaked at 430,000 miles per hour. The project is in early stages of construction, but the company hopes to achieve nuclear fusion in orbit in 2027.
7 tigers were seized from a Nevada property on Wednesday. Their owner, who was taken to jail for resisting arrest, says the tigers are his emotional support animals. Tiffany Lane has the story.
Give me an arm and do it now.
Which arm? You got them both.
Your right arm. Put it behind your back. Do it now.
Carl Mitchell getting handcuffed by authorities Wednesday morning around 7 at his property.
You're under arrest for resisting right now, buddy. Okay.
Mitchell recording the interaction with his phone when they came to seize his 7 tigers.
They don't have a right to take these tigers.
No, they don't.
Nye County Sheriff Joe McGill says the investigation started several months ago.
Mr. Mitchell was being evicted from the property, and the owner of the property was not being allowed onto the property to inspect. And Mr. Mitchell, we have known for several years, has had big cats on his property, and for the last 2 years has been in violation because he had no permits for those cats.
We got a glimpse of those tigers provided to us by Mitchell's girlfriend, Catherine Griffiths, who went to speak with the animals when authorities, code enforcement, and animal services came to investigate.
You okay? Abraham? He's going into this is not good.
Sheriff McGill says Mitchell's tigers are not a secret to the community.
I mean, we have received information over the years that he has been seen walking the tigers loose around the property, off the property in the desert. There have been social media posts from him with people interacting with the cats, which is also in violations.
Mitchell speaking to News 3 following his arrest in a jailhouse interview just hours later.
The animals did not deserve to be snatched up, knocked out with drugs, and shipped off across the country when they were happy and content where they had lived for more than 10 years.
He says there's a reason he doesn't have a permit.
My tigers are my emotional support animals. I'm 100% disabled veteran with PTSD. The VA and my doctors have approved the tigers for me as emotional support animals.
Griffiths showing a letter from the Department of Veterans Affairs talking about the tigers being prescribed as emotional support animals. The animals now being taken to an out-of-state sanctuary. The sheriff's office says Animal Services could possibly add charges following its investigation.
Things like there were water dishes with no water for the animals, water dishes that had algae growing in the dishes. 1 or 2 of the animals were noted to be visibly appeared to be underweight, skinny.
They have 5-gallon containers for water, and they're watered every day. When they show up at 6 o'clock in the morning and won't let me go down and take care of them, I can't do anything about that. I also had a truck full of food to feed them this morning. I didn't get to do that either.
A Georgia man is back home, more than 2 years after being kidnapped by the Taliban in Afghanistan. George Glesman was abducted in 2022 while on vacation in Kabul and held prisoner by the Taliban. He was released last month and landed at the Atlanta airport Tuesday evening.
After 2 years and 4 months wrongfully detained by the Taliban in Afghanistan, you are back home in Atlanta.
Yes.
At the airport where you worked as a Delta airline mechanic.
Yes, sir.
What is in your heart at this
Oh
moment?
my God, gratitude, unmeasurable gratitude to Delta and the people involved in my release, to my lovely wife, to my co-workers, to Dr. Young. I'm overwhelmed.
That will do it all for national news. Coming up next is Seth Adams with business and entertainment. But first, we step outside with Anthony DeFilippo for a quick look at the weather.
April has just begun here at Waynesburg University, and it is off to a warm start. Currently 72 degrees here on campus, but it's going to be kind of a mixed bag throughout the week. Where will it fluctuate? Find out right here on the newscast, live at 5.
Gotcha.
Fading up to Tyler and Mia in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Mia Hinkins.
And I'm Tyler Aaron, and welcome
to Jacket Sports Weekly.
Back to the newscast live at 5. I'm Seth Adams with your business and entertainment update. Oil prices took a plunge today. They fell 7% to under $67 per barrel, which could cause crude to have its weakest day since July of 2022. This comes as OPEC announced on Thursday that 8 of its members, including Russia and Saudi Arabia, will increase production starting next month. Analysts say this unexpected move will increase concerns about how President Donald Trump's tariffs will affect the global economy. Shares tumbled nearly 9% Thursday morning, shortly after the market opened. That's nearly a $30 billion loss in market value. It comes in the wake of President Donald Trump's sweeping tariff announcements on imports on Wednesday. Apple produces gadgets abroad in places like China, Vietnam, and India. The iPhone maker could take a significant hit from tariffs when importing goods for U.S. consumers. If Apple stock's prices end Thursday at the same level, it will be the largest one-day decline since March 12th, 2020. That's when business worldwide shut down because of the pandemic. The genetic testing company 23andMe recently filed for bankruptcy and is looking to be bought by any other company. Some lawmakers, are urging users to delete their accounts to perform their data from ending up in the hands of a potential new buyer. The headlines have raised question about safety on genealogy sites. In today's Consumer Watch, Jen Sullivan explains how to keep your personal information secure.
Genealogy kits have become increasingly popular as more people want to learn about where they came from, but your personal information could be vulnerable.
We really don't have too many laws that protect this information.
Anya Prince is a law professor at the University of Iowa. She says it's important for customers to read these genealogy companies' privacy policies before signing up.
At the federal level, we don't have a general data protection law.
The Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act, known as GINA, protects people from being discriminated by insurance companies and employers based on genetic information. And your health information that's collected through these sites is protected through HIPAA. But even if you delete your account, Prince says traces of your information could still be available.
It's not a complete deletion of everything, but it does minimize the amount of data.
Here's how 23andMe works. You're sent a kit to collect a sample of your saliva, and that can spit out a lot of information about you, including health risks for certain diseases, carrier risks, and information about your ancestry line.
Genetic information and health information is so valuable.
23andMe estimates it has 15 million customers. As the company looks to sell, Prince says many companies will be interested to buy because of how valuable that data is.
A medical research company or a pharmaceutical company could find this data helpful. Somebody who wanted to partner with law enforcement to share genetic information might find this useful.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Zelle shut down its standalone app on Tuesday, but the popular person-to-person money transferring service itself is not going anywhere. Zelle warned of the shutdown last year. It explained only 2% of transactions happen on its app. It said a vast majority of Zelle's 151 million users access the service through their own bank's website or app, and that process will be unaffected. In 2017, about 30 banks created Zelle to rival popular existing payments like Venmo, Cash App, and Apple Pay. Zelle created its own app to provide access for people whose banks didn't yet participate. But adoption soared over the years with more than 2,200 banks and now credit unions now using Zelle. To keep using Zelle's service, App-only users must be re-enrolled through their participating bank or credit union app. Today in entertainment news, a look at a new series launching today and a movie debuting next month. Here's David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
Did you take our son along for a demon fight yesterday?
I'm just trying to do something nice here.
Actress and musician Jennifer Nettles acts and sings with Kevin Bacon in the supernatural horror series The Bondsman. Nettles says she was blown away by the script.
As a musician, the way that I read things is the way that I write things. It's like I don't read them with my eyes, I read them with my ears. So how does this sound? Can I hear this? Does this sound authentic? Can I hear this in someone's mouth? And they jumped off the page as real to me, those words. So I loved the storyline.
The Bondsman debuts today on Prime Video, and Bacon and Nettles' album Hell and Back is out Friday.
And which genius will explain to me why I'm here?
Keep the cat in the bag until I release it. Yeah? Great. We're looking for the Fountain of Youth.
Oh, please, no.
What did I just say about the cat in the bag?
Cat wasn't happy in the bag.
Here's your first look at Fountain of Youth, directed by Guy Ritchie. John Krasinski and Natalie Portman play estranged siblings who reunite for a global epic adventure in search of the mythical fountain. The action-adventure debuts May 23rd on Apple TV+. Getting my passport in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
That'll do it for your business and entertainment update. I'm Seth Adams. When we return on the newscast, Tyler Aaron has your sports.
Oh, I didn't see you there. I'm Mia Hinkins, and welcome to Buell Hall, home of Waynesburg University's Department of Communication. If you visit our campus, you'll have the opportunity to attend some comm classes, enjoy lunch with our students, and watch us in action. We hope to see you here soon at Waynesburg University.
To schedule your personal visit, go to waynesburg.edu/admissions/schedule-visit. Come grow with us at Waynesburg University.
Welcome back to the newscast live at 5. I'm Tyler Aaron with your sports. Yesterday, Waynesburg softball hosted the Geneva College Golden Tornadoes in Waynesburg's annual Angels in the Outfield doubleheader. The Yellow Jackets split the series with Geneva winning in Game 1 7-2, led by senior pitcher Sidney Wilson, who pitched a complete game and throwing 10 strikeouts. Geneva, however, took Game 2 of the doubleheader, beating the Yellow Jackets 6-2. The team is back in action on Saturday as they travel to Franciscan to take on the Barons. First pitch of Game 1 is scheduled for 1 p.m. For the baseball team, the Yellow Jackets were traveling to take on Penn State Barron, but that doubleheader was postponed this morning due to inclement weather. There is no rescheduled makeup date at this time. The team returns to the President's Athletic Conference play on Saturday at home against Bethany. For women's golf, they just finished playing at the Grove City Invitational at Grove City College. Senior Maeve Hanley led the way for the Yellow Jackets, finishing 17 over par, and the whole team finished tied for 9th place with Carlo at the Invitational. With the baseball and softball team in action on Saturday, men's and women's outdoor track and field travel up to what I like to call Slimy Pebble, PA, for the Dave Labor Invitational at Slippery Rock University. The men's tennis team will entertain Allegheny on Saturday as well. First match is set for 10 a.m. Now on to Greene County sports. In baseball yesterday, there was only one game that featured Greene County teams, and that was Jefferson Morgan hosting Carmichael's. The game ended in a Rockets 8-1 win over the Big Mikes. Carmichael's is the only team in action again today as they are playing Bentworth right now. For Greene County softball yesterday, West Greene took down Havella 10-0, and Bentworth defeated Mapletown 14-3. Now, 2 of the 5 Greene County teams are in action today, with Waynesburg Central playing host to Bentworth and West Greene traveling down those old country roads to West Virginia to take on Clay Patel. Now we take a look on to Pittsburgh sports. Yesterday was Paul Skeen's bump day down in the temporary home of the Tampa Bay Rays. Skeens pitched 7 complete innings and struck out 6 Rays while only giving up 1 run and 3 hits. On the offensive side for the Pirates, O'Neill Cruz connected on his 2nd home run of the season and helped lead the way to a 4-2 victory over the Rays. The Pirates improved to a 2-5 record and sit in last place in the NL Central standings. The Pirates are off today and will have their home opener tomorrow at 4:12 against Aaron Judge and the New York Yankees. Mitch Keller will take the hill for the Pirates. Now on to the Penguins. The Penguins kick off a 3-game road trip tonight against the red-hot St. Louis Blues. The big story tonight for the Penguins is Sid the Kid and the Kids. Now, the kids I'm referring to is rookie forwards Rutger McGroarty and Ville Koivunen, who was just called up from Wilkes-Barre Scranton earlier this week. Tristan Jarry will start in goal tonight for the Penguins and look to send the Blues home with the Blues. Puck drop is at 8 p.m. Now, finally, on to March Madness. It is officially the Final Four in both women's and men's basketball. For the women's bracket, their Final Four kicks off tomorrow with number 1 seeded Texas against the number 1 seeded South Carolina, a rematch from the SEC championship game earlier this year. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. and directly after the game, number 1 seeded UCLA will play the number 2 seeded UConn Huskies. The championship game will be on Sunday at 3 p.m. at the Amalie Arena in Tampa Bay, Florida. Now on the men's side, for the first time since 2008, all 4 number 1 seeds are in it. Auburn does battle with Florida on Saturday at 6:09 p.m. and Duke squares off against Houston at precisely 8:49 p.m. The winners of both of those games will battle it out for the national championship at 8:50 p.m. on Monday at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. That's all I have for you for your sports. Coming up next is Anthony DeFilippo with your weather updates on the newscast live at 5.
Welcome back to the newscast live at 5. I'm Anthony DeFilippo with your weather for the week. As we kick off April, it finally seems like the weather is making a turn for the better, at least for the next couple of days. Currently, we're sitting at 65 degrees here in Greene County with temperatures having reached 71 earlier in the day. Rain has become a theme today, falling on and off throughout the day. Looking ahead to tomorrow for the Pittsburgh Pirates home opener, which is at 4:12 p.m., temperatures drop into the upper 50s with the high being 59, the low 52. There is an 84% chance of rain. Saturday has a chance to challenge the record for all-time April 5ths as temperatures spike at 81. The previous record was 84 degrees in 2023. The low is 46, but there is a 96% chance of rain. Sunday dips back down with a high of 53 and a low of 37. The rainy stretch continues with a 76% chance of any precipitation. Moving into the work week, Monday keeps things in the 50s with a high of 52 and a low dipping back below freezing to 28. There's just a 1% chance of any rain or that forbidden snow throughout the day. Tuesday's high is too close to freezing for comfort at 36 degrees. The low is the lowest of the week by far at 21, and there's just a 9% chance of any precipitation. Finally, on Wednesdays, temperatures tick up just a bit to 47 degrees, but the low stays below the freezing mark at 28. Rain chances are back at 55%. That's your weather forecast for the week. Stay warm and keep your umbrellas handy. For now, I'm Anthony DeFilippo. Let's send it back to Mia Hankins and Joe Cirillo at the desk.
That is going to do it all for the newscast live at 5 for everyone behind the scenes and in front of the camera. Thank you for watching.
Stay tuned on our WCTV YouTube page and social media platforms for more Waynesburg content.
This has been a production of Waynesburg Community Television.